you guys might have been interacting with me on email or in the Facebook group. So I'm Matt. So I'm one of the founders of RequestNow. I've been running it for feels like almost 3 years. Kind of tough because we kind of kicked it off right as COVID was ramping up. So that definitely made it hard. Kind of short story on me. I was DJing in high school. My friend and I had a DJ company. We kind of specialized in like the Sweet 16s, school dances. They were all kind of coming up and writing on a clipboard or like yelling in our ear, different song requests. And I was actually the assistant. So I spent a lot of time just dealing with the song requests. And we were like, this is interesting. Like they're all on their phone. It would be so much easier if they could just text us because like some of them were too timid or you couldn't hear them. So that's kind of how this idea came about. So then we kind of tested it out, let some of our other DJ friends try it. And then we've had some other folks like DJ Twinspin. He's been giving us a ton of feedback. So we've been implementing his feedback and just kind of gone from there. So I guess I'll let you introduce yourself.
Yeah, happy to be here. Thanks, Matt, for inviting me. My name's Young. I go by the name of DJ Twinspin. I'm from the San Francisco Bay Area. I've been DJing for quite a long time. I've been DJing since 1987, professionally since about 1994, 93, 94. I've done pretty much everything related to DJing. I've done radio, nightclubs, mobile. I started as a mobile DJ. That's kind of back in the day when we started DJing. That's kind of how you started as a DJ. You mainly did like house parties, school dances, and things like that, weddings, and then proms. And then eventually a lot of those DJs branched off into mixing for radio mix shows and nightclubs and all that. So I did all that and probably a lot more, which I don't remember because I'm so old. But that's another story. So so I DJ full time. I've got a company here in the Bay Area. We specialize in weddings and corporate events, and we also do some school events as well too. My son, who's 18, kind of handles more of the middle school, high school type events, and then I handle mostly corporate events and weddings. And we provide DJ, sound systems, lighting, projection, all that kind of good stuff for a lot of the corporate firms. So I live near Silicon Valley, and majority of our clientels are like tech. So Cisco, Amazon, Intel, Apple, Facebook, Twitter. Those are like some of our clients that we do AV for and we do DJing services for. I hooked up with Matt a while back with the
I
request.
forget how we met.
Yeah,
I forget how you
I don't
come
remember
across
how we
it.
met.
Yeah, me neither.
I think I was like, how did we meet? I don't know, maybe it's some of your posts on Facebook or
I
something.
think so, yeah.
I just knew long ago, even before I met Matt, I thought in my mind, there's got to be a way where people can request songs, but using their phone. And my brother-in-law, who's actually a software engineer, I've been bugging him. I was bugging him for years. I was like, man, you should develop the software to, allows DJs and to take song requests and they can text messages. He's like, yeah. And he never got around to doing it. And then somehow I ran into Matt and he offered RequestNow. I was like, this is the exact service that I've been looking for years and years. And lo and behold, here it is. So so long story short, Matt and I met up and I started consulting with him and kind of giving him some inside tips and my feedback as far as how we can make RequestNow a little bit better, more efficient, more easier to use. And so that was at least a couple of years ago, right, Matt? Somewhere around there?
Yeah, I think like 2018.
Okay. Yeah, it was definitely before a pandemic.
Yeah.
So when the pandemic hit, it was like RequestNow was like, wow, it was like the perfect service with the whole social distancing thing. And it was a perfect thing. So my clients, I would tell them about us. There's a service that we offer where you can text message your song request using your phone. You don't even have to come up to me. And they're like, oh, that's great. With social distancing, you don't have to come up and talk to you. I said, no, that's perfect. So that's how kind of RequestNow started. And then Matt released Photowall, which is why we're all here today. And we're going to talk about that. And so, Matt, when did you release Photowall? It was about a year ago?
I think Photowall's only about a year old, yeah.
About a year?
We added that pretty recently.
And the ironic thing about Photowall is that before I met Matt, I was actually using a service that's kind of similar to Photowall. I forgot the name, but anyway, same thing. I was consulting with them. They're based here in the Bay Area, and God, I forgot the name of the company. But there's a very similar service where people can text message their photos from their phone, and it would go either on a TV screen or a projector. But they went out of business. they basically just didn't really have the people that are running the company really didn't have the market or the drive to push the product. And so I was like, gosh, that's such a good service. And I'm like, it's gone now. So I was kind of bummed out about that. And then Photowall comes up. I'm like, yes, this is what I wanted. This is what I've been using in the past. And I remember when I used the other service in the past, it was just a hit. People loved it. And I always said, if I find another service out there that's similar to this, I want to try to use it. And lo and behold, Matt comes up with Photowall. I'm like, Matt, you've been reading my mind, bro. What's going on? Long story short, yeah. So I started using Photowall right away when it came out. And again, I was kind of advising him and consulting him on like how to make it better and what can we do to make it easier and what works, what kind of doesn't work. And yeah, so here we are. And I would say, Matt, it's still, it's still a learning process. There's still a lot more improvement, right?
It's definitely in this early stages still.
Yeah.
We've gotten a lot of good, feedback. Hopefully the price point is such that people can try it out pretty easily and things like that. But I guess we'll get into that. I thought I'd kick it off and just do a really quick demo. Do you think that makes sense? Just to.
Yeah, sure. For those people who are not familiar with the service, how it works, I think a demo would be great.
Also, too, just kind of a brief overview of Photowall, because I think we've kind of assumed a lot of people know what it is. Let me share my screen. Okay, so to start the demo real quick. So I hope everyone knows what RequestNow is. It is essentially a song requesting tool, but the key difference is that it's over text message. So there's definitely some other tools out there. I'm pretty sure we're the only one where you get a phone number. And the real beauty of that is it's super easy for your guests. They don't need to download an app. They don't need to visit a website. They literally scan a QR code and they send a text. And the other advantage to that is at the end of the night, you can send that thank you message. You can send that auto reply and they'll get it. If they just scan a web page, for example, if they close that browser, you're never going to, be able to interact with them again. So there's definitely strong marketing aspects to use text message. So I just wanted to call that out. So everyone on RequestNow is going to get a phone number. So in your numbers tab, you would get a phone number. Ideally, it's in your local area code or something close to that. You'll also get a QR code. QR code makes it really easy for them to scan.
Mm-hmm.
And then you basically just want to create an event here. And the event is, could be someone's wedding, birthday party, whatever it is. We really started this off with just song requests. So making it super easy for you to get song requests. We try to identify the song. Hopefully most people on here have used our main product. We've also added some features like tips for that. If you're maybe a bar DJ, we've added a contact card. We've added guest names. We've added all sorts of stuff. I don't think I want to spend too much time talking about that just because I want to focus on Photowall. So Photowall is the ability to accept photos now, and it's to the exact same number. So using that same number, they can send you photos, and you can do two things. You can either send a live slideshow, so you can display a slideshow on a TV or projector, and we'll kind of loop through those photos, or you can send a photo album at the end. So some people don't realize this, but you could use Photowall without the live slideshow part. If you just want your guests to take photos, you can send that album at the end of the night. And people like that a lot as well. You would now create the event. So you would click new event. You would give it some sort of a name. You would select the date for the event. The idea here is that the event is a 24-hour period. So if the wedding is on Friday, it would be live starting at 6 a.m. on Friday and go till the next day at 6 a.m. If you do ever have a problem, I'm sure some of you have realized we are pretty flexible. If you email us, if you need it to start a day early or whatever, we kind of just want to work with you guys. So that's not a huge deal. So for selecting the event date, you would just select that. I'm going to select for today so we could try it out. Event type, I'll just say this is a corporate function. You can give us an estimate for the event. Maybe there's 50 of us on here. And then here you'll see the number. If you're creating your first event, you might not see a number because we haven't given you one yet. If you have multiple numbers, you would see a drop down and you can select the number. I mentioned you can accept tips here, so you can use Venmo or Cash App. We basically just generate a link for you. So that's pretty easy. And then there's this concept of the auto reply. So the auto reply is what the guest will get every time they text in. And this is just to kind of say thanks for the photo or thanks for the song request. Hope you're having fun. You can, it's all up to you. If you want to reinforce your own branding, put your website, put your Instagram. If you want to put the couple's name, I normally do that. You, Young, normally put the couple's name, right? Or how do you normally do that?
I usually do it my closing thank you message. I'll say, thank you for joining us for Susie and John's wedding. Hope you had a great time. Get home safe. And I'll put DJ Twinspin, and I'll put my website, twinspinent.com. But usually for the auto reply, I'll just put thanks for your song request. I'll do the best to get it on. I never say thanks for your song request. I'll get it on, because they automatically think you're going to get the song on. So that's one thing I did kind of learn in the beginning that I don't want to do.
That's a great point, by the way, that I want to kind of reinforce. So I think this is a good opportunity to reinforce your expectations. So
Right.
I tell a lot of people, say, thanks for the song request. I'll try my best to work it in. Or, I can't guarantee I'll play all songs. Some aren't allowed or whatever. It's just kind of your opportunity to kind of level set with people, because you don't want someone to assume that just because they text you, you're going to play the song. So I think it's
Yeah.
kind of important. Um,
Yeah, because sometimes they really think you're going to play it.
right.
It could
So
be
I would,
death metal, and they think you're going to play it.
yeah. So I would just say, thanks for the suggestion. I'll do my best or something. Or I can't promise anything. So
Yeah.
then the thank you message. So that's the blast at the end of the night. So when you end the
Right.
event, every single person who texted in is going to get that thank you message. And, it kind of depends how you want to use it. It's a great marketing tool. I think instead of a business card, everyone now has your information. We've added this concept of a contact card. So I'm going to enable that. This contact card, I can show you if you text into it. But on iOS and Android, it's basically like if you were to send a friend, if I were to send you like Young's number, it would just kind of be a digital card. So it's the same for that. So it could have your website, your email address. They could basically just save your contact. So for this thank you message, I'll just say, thanks for coming out to the event. Hope you learned about Photowall. Don't forget to respond to the email to claim the free credit. So you can say whatever you want. You can put your own website in there, whatever you need to do. If you want to detect songs, you enable song detection there. And then the main thing we're talking about tonight is Photowall. So you would click this box. So this enables Photowall. This adds Photowall to all event. One important thing to call out, you can use Photowall like without a song request event. So to do that, you would, let me just duplicate this tab. To do just the Photowall event, you would click this button. So new photo only. So the difference here is there'll be no song requests. It's only Photowall. I think most people, I think you, Young, use both, right?
Yeah, I always use both. I use
Yeah,
the RequestNow
yeah.
and Photowall. Yeah.
So you don't have to though. If you don't want song requests, you would just do a photo wall. So I'm gonna create that event. So you're gonna be charged $40. It is $40 for every photo wall. I can talk a bit more on the pricing at the end. We kind of have a lot of text here. You can take some time to read it, but the two important things are you're gonna get one link for the song requests, which I'll open in a new tab, and then you're going to get one link for the photo wall. So it's two links. In the future, we might try to consolidate that, but for right now, it's two links. So this is the live view is what we call it, is where you see all the song requests, and then here's the photo admin for photos. So I'm going to put the QR code on the screen. So if you want to send us a song request, a photo, I'm going to do that real quick. I just want to kind of finish the demo, and then I see a lot of questions have come in. So as people text in, I will answer some of those.
Charles is asking about resolution on Photowall. Will there be any pixelation issues if you use a large screen? No. So I've used Photowall on just a regular flat 720 screen, 1080 screen. Looks beautiful. I've used it on a high definition video projector. Looks fine. I've used it on a giant LED wall before. Looks great. So you're not gonna have any pixelation issues at all. The images are gonna be very sharp, very clean. Yeah, I think I've pretty much used almost every hardware media format I can think of: TV, LCD projectors, LED wall. Yeah, I use it on all computer screens, and the images look really sharp. They look great. So one thing I do want to mention, when the photos, if people are taking the photos in portrait mode, the photo is going to be shaped in a portrait position, so it's going to have black bars on the side. If they do landscape, it'll be a full landscape position photo. So keep that in mind. But yeah, so hopefully that answers your question. Somebody earlier was asking about the album, a virtual album.
Let me talk through this real quick, and then I'll get to the album. So
Yeah.
this is the photo admin, or the control center, you could call it, for Photowall. So every photo has to be approved. So this is the link for the slideshow. So this is kind of the final link. And so far, it just shows this because I haven't approved any photos. This is the link that you'll want to put on the projector on the TV screen. You can also use an Amazon Fire Stick. I have instructions for that I can show you guys in a second. But you will need to put this link on a device. So that's the final link here that I want to check in on. But In the meantime, so as guests sort of send in photos, you'll see sort of a preview here. You can click on it to make it bigger. So if I want to add this photo and this photo, it would automatically go. You don't need to refresh the page. You don't need to do anything. It will start going through it, as you guys can see. So that's sort of how you approve it. That's the slideshow. And then the photo album is something at the end of the event you might want to send out to people. So you get that link by clicking the post event album. And this actually generates in real time and it only shows the photos that you approve. But this link you can actually send to people. We are going to make this a lot easier because obviously you'll want to be able to have access to this link and maybe put it in the thank you message. So we're working on fixing that. But if you reach out to us, we can also send you a Google photo album, which I think Young, like you use quite often. That just makes it a little easier for them to share and download photos.
That's a big selling point with all my clients. I let them know that, hey, after your wedding or your event's over, you can download all your photos and keep it, in a file. And they're like, oh, I love that. That's probably one of the biggest selling points for sure.
Yeah. So we'll talk more about that. But basically for the control panel, it's really simple. You can click this to approve all the photos. Makes it really easy. I want to let Young talk about all his tips and tricks as to how he approves it, if he hires people, all that sort of stuff. But I just wanted to give a quick demo. All the photos in the queue you will see in this tab. Let's say you want to remove a photo, you would just click delete. Yeah, the last thing would be if you're also using RequestNow for song requests, you would see the song request here. So some people are texting in. I see that right here. So you can also do your song requests. If you click on settings, it will link to the photo admin. I don't know if everyone knows that. Like they are connected, and then you can also go back to the live view from photo admin. So, okay, I think that concludes the really quick demo because I want to make sure we have time for questions and I want you to talk through kind of your experience, Young. But I guess the last part would be when you're done with the event, you would click the end event button. You can do that on the photo album, on the photo admin or in the live view. I won't end it since I want to keep it up, but it will kind of remind you like what the thank you message is. Click end, everyone will get a text thanking them. You might be asking like, how do you get guests to send photos in? You would kind of make a poster like this. So I just put this on the screen and this is something I've made for people. We have some Canva links, but you would basically just say, send your photos in, you put your QR code in. If you guys want to scan this right now, it's the same QR code, but we've just kind of made a nice template here and you can put these in our Facebook group. We have all sorts of examples. People have put them on like matches, like with the couple's name. People have put them in picture frames. People have bought stands. People, you can really do whatever you need.
Let's go back to the question about the album. Or did we cover that one already?
Yeah, I mean, the album is just as simple as like, let's say you get 200 photos, right? Like now you have an album of all the photos that you can send out to the bride and groom. You can send it in your thank you email. If you want to be clever, you can probably send it in your thank you email to the client and also ask for like a review. I think it will be cool. I will say the photo album is definitely a spot where we can add some improvements. Like I want to make it where you can put your logos, you can kind of white label it. So there's definitely some improvements coming to the photo album. But the photo album is really just all the photos. And if they want to save the photos, they can click on them. So that's really the main idea for that. It's just kind of another thing.
Be Smooth is asking about the event. Is it over? Is it end the next day at 6 a.m.? Is it basically a 24-hour window?
Yeah, it's a 24-hour window. So it starts the day at 6 a.m. and then ends the next day. If you end it earlier, though, it will end. So if your event ends at midnight, you click end, it's over. If they send a photo, that will not be included anymore. And I recommend ending it so that they don't.
I usually end mine the minute I'm done with my gig. Like even before I shut down my laptop, I end it right then and there, just because I'll forget if I don't do it then.
Also, if anyone's like used Photowall, let us know, how it went. Looks like Dan Jacobs said it went over great. He sent some tweaks over. We talked about the resolution for Charles. Yeah, I haven't really seen any issues. If they send a bad photo, like a low quality photo, I mean, obviously that won't look great. So that's kind of up to you. So you could also like deny a photo because it doesn't look, high quality. I think that's a fair thing.
The photos I usually deny are duplicates for sure. I usually do duplicates, probably the main one, and then of course, obviously, if it's inappropriate, I haven't gotten any inappropriate photos, luckily, at any of the events. But if I see a lot of duplicate ones, or if I see ones that just absolutely make no sense, like it could be something that's completely not even related to anything, or just then I'll delete it. But for the most part, I just kind of let it go through. But I usually have an assistant kind of doing that for me. But when I don't have an assistant, I'm still able to do it myself. I guess from here, maybe I'll talk about kind of like how I run Photowall.
Yeah, you know what? Can I just answer these two questions quickly, and then I think that makes sense. So Peter is sort of saying he likes that he can get a local area code. So I do think that's important. I also want to
Yeah.
call out, because I just want to make it clear. Sadly, it's only available to folks in the US and Canada. If you're watching from Europe, where we just can't operate, and that's really out of our control. It's just because the carriers are not accepting photo messages. So hopefully that will change. But for right now, Photowall is only available to the customers in the US and Canada. And if you're in Canada, you can get a local number. Peter says, if when schools come back, I'll be using RequestNow. Yeah, awesome. Also, we had some, at a prom, I saw someone sell Photowall to a prom, which also another thing we should talk about is the upcharging. And because the whole concept of this, by the way, is so that you guys can upcharge it, which I always kind
Right.
of forget to talk about. Okay, why don't we? Charles said if you sign up for the monthly plan, you keep the same number. Yeah, so I want to talk about pricing at the end, but you can get the same number for all your events if you join the Pro plan or our Unlimited plan. So you don't have to worry about that. It's only if you do the pay as you go that the number would change. Why don't you talk through your kind of tips and tricks, Young? And
Yeah. So the way I use Photowall, first off, is when I book a wedding or whatever type of event, the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to text message the Photowall image to let people know, hey, text your phone or text your photos to this number. So like the one I have, I just made it on
Photoshop.
There we go. So mine looks like something like this, right? And then basically, it's on my phone. I have it on my phone 24/7. So whenever an event starts, I just text it to my phone, and then it pops up in my approval, and I just approve it, right? So that'll be the first photo that they're going to see when guests walk into a room. Maybe it's a high school dance. When they're walking into a room and it's a projector or whatever, they're going to see that first thing is, text your photos to this number. As the photos start rolling in and as you start approving it, what I do then is I'll text that same slide again. So that way it's not like just that. That way it's getting kind of rotated throughout the other photos, so people kind of get reminded, because a lot of them won't remember the phone number. Now, of course, if there's like tent cards on the tables and things like that, then they could just look at the tent cards. But a lot of times they don't have that, right? So it's kind of my job as the DJ and as the MC to remind everybody, hey, don't forget to text your photos. Here's the number, 510, da, 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 da. But then I'll continuously kind of insert that text number slide, mix it in within the other slide, the photos that are coming in. So the way I do this logistically is I've done it where I use a projector. I've also done where I use the giant LED wall. And the way I usually do it is that I'll connect the laptop to either the projector or the LED wall or TV. And I'll usually have an assistant. Their thing is to basically monitor through the photos to make sure they're appropriate and approve them. But I know somebody mentioned this earlier about, I think it's a screen share setting on a laptop, which allows you to, or screen extension. I think it's called extending. Charles mentioned it. Yeah, so basically on a laptop computer, on a PC computer, it has what's called a screen extension, which allows you essentially to have two screens. So one screen is going to be basically the actual images that are being projected onto the projector TV. The other screen is going to be essentially what's on the actual laptop, which is going to be all the approval of the photos coming in. So your assistant or somebody, or even you, like let's say you don't have an assistant, but you have a separate laptop, you can put that next to your DJ console, and you can approve the photos as they're coming in. So essentially you got two screens. You got one that's being projected onto the TV or projector, and then you've got the approval screen, which is on your laptop. So, and that's just coming off of one laptop entirely. So you don't need to. And when I first started this, I was like, oh man, do I need two laptops? One for projection and then one for approval. But then I realized, no, wait, you do what a screen extension. And that allows you just use one laptop, and you can approve the photos and project the photos from one laptop. So it's a beautiful thing. So yeah, I use that feature. Now, a lot of common question I get is like, oh, does that mean you got to run a long HDMI cable from your laptop to the projector to the TV? In theory, yes. But what I recently found, which I thought was really cool, is they do have wireless HDMI transmitter receivers. And funny thing is, I actually got this. It's called a Screen Beam Mini 2, and I actually won this at a golf tournament I went to. That was
Wow.
I know, right? I went to a golf tournament about a year ago that was hosted by a local AV company here, and they do AV installs for corporate buildings. They do speaker, video projection, microphone system installs. But I was invited to that golf tournament, and then they did this raffle. And so I won the raffle and I won this. And I was like, oh, this is kind of cool, but I wasn't really sure when I'd ever use it. But now with Photowall, I'm like, this is like the perfect thing. So with ScreenBeam Mini 2, what it does, it's basically a wireless HDMI transmitter receiver. So you plug one end to the projector or TV, which looks like this, right? And then the other end goes right into your computer. So there's no long HDMI cables that run all over the place because it's all done through wireless, right? And so that kind of takes away having to run long HDMI cables. And it's worked really well, surprisingly. I was kind of a little bit skeptical when I started using this, but then I was asking around, people like, oh yeah, ScreenBeams, those look great. So I gave it a shot, and since then I've been kind of using it for all my Photowall services.
I just had one part too. So we have discovered, I forget, one of our customers sort of discovered this, but this is just like the user manual that we have linked for Photowall, and you can use a Fire Stick. So I think so I think a Fire Stick's like $25 these days. So the way it would work is, though, you would need to connect the Fire Stick to Wi-Fi, though. That is the very important thing. I don't think ScreenBeam needs Wi-Fi, right? Because it's local to the other end. So that's the big difference.
Yeah, it's basically just from one end to
Right,
the
one
other.
to the end of the other.
Yeah.
So if you do use a Fire Stick, like, make sure your venue has good Wi-Fi. You don't want to show up to the venue and they're like, we got no Wi-Fi, because the Fire Stick does need to connect to Wi-Fi. But from what people have been telling me, I tried it at home. I tried it, so this is actually my TV. It does work. You basically just need to connect the Fire Stick to internet, and then you open up the browser. You just have to search for browser, and then you would just type in. So it is a little annoying, but you would have to type in the RequestNow slideshow link, as I've done, and then you can full screen it. You would just click on that black box. So it's a little bit of work. Maybe it takes 10 minutes to like connect to Wi-Fi, type it all in, but it could be worth it for the price. But I would probably do what you're suggesting, the ScreenBeam, just because of the Wi-Fi part.
Yeah, it works really well. I just on a whim happened to try it, and I was like, this worked great.
What's the product name?
It's called ScreenBeam Mini 2. I think there's maybe a ScreenBeam Mini. You guys can probably just Google it, find it on Amazon.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Here it is.
There you go.
How much is it?
You know, it's not very expensive. I think I looked it up. It's like $40.
$40. Yeah, interesting.
Yeah, $45. Okay. There you go. Because when I originally got it, I was like, am I gonna really use this? And I said, just keep it. And then next thing I know, I'm using it all the time for my Photowall, and it works great. So it prevents me from having to run long HDMI cables. Somebody asked about HDMI splitters. I haven't tried it with the splitter yet, but I imagine it works with it, you know. The one caveat about the ScreenBeam Mini 2 is that it only works with PC, not Mac.
And I think that's
why when I originally won it, I think that's why I was kind of like, I'm not going to use this. I'm a Mac guy, but I also use PC. So this does only work with PC. Now, there may be companies out there that make a similar product that's designed for Mac and iOS and PC. So I just haven't checked. I just haven't looked, but I'm sure it's out there somewhere. Right.
You could also just carry a backup, like 50-foot HDMI cable.
Which I do. I've got a 100-foot HDMI in my van.
I would just, as a safety, always have a backup in your van.
Yeah.
And then if like the Fire Stick or this doesn't work, you have that.
Yeah.
Worst comes to worst. But anyway, okay. Yeah. So that's kind of streaming it. I guess I was curious to ask you, kind of just to talk about how you upsell it, or how do you sell it to clients? How do you talk about it? Because I think it's a new thing. You don't see it at every event, you know.
It's very new, and it is a new service. Every couple I talk to has never heard of it. Every time I tell them, they're like, oh, wow, that's cool. Oh, real quick, I want to answer Dan Jacobs' question. How stable is it? I wouldn't use it for video DJing if that's what you're thinking about. I haven't tried it, but just me, I wouldn't depend on that. Photowall, if it happens to lose signal, no big deal. You just reboot it and it's fine. But for video DJing, I probably wouldn't depend on using that. But the way I market it to my couples is this. It's pretty simple. The way I do is basically, so what I normally already offer right now as a package for in addition to my DJing services for weddings and stuff like that, is that I do offer a projector screen package. And that's probably one of my most popular add-ons for couples, because they always want to do a slideshow. They're always like, hey, do you rent a projector and a screen? We want to do a slideshow presentation during dinner. And I'm like, yeah, sure, no problem. So the way I've been kind of selling this is like, I've been basically saying, look, if you get this Photowall service, you can also get the projector and screen included with that package. So if you have any sort of other thing you want to put on there, maybe like a slide presentation or something like that, you're going to be able to use that and also do the Photowall service. But what I've been really doing is, though, I'll basically take my costs for the projector screen package, and then on top of that, I'll tack on an additional cost for the Photowall service. So in essence, what it's what should have been like a $400 video screen or projector and screen package, it bumps up to $600 because
Wow.
I basically tack on that difference. So I'm making an additional couple $100 because I'm sticking Photowall on top of that, right? And if they want to just rent just a screen only without Photowall, then they pay $400. But I'm like, it's only an extra $200 to get the Photowall service, and they're like,
So
oh
they
wow,
can't
great.
do just Photowall.
Yeah, exactly. Well,
Okay.
yes and no. If it happens to be a venue where they've got a screen and projector all set up, ready to go, which actually 2 of the venues I'm a preferred vendor for does have a built-in projector and screen, I'll sell them just the Photowall service alone.
Okay.
And so I'll sell them that alone. But most venues don't have that. So let's say, well, you got to provide the projector and screen yourself. So I'll kind of package it, bundle it up together with Photowall service, and then I'll sell it as one giant package price, right? But the way I've been presenting it, the way I've been marketing it to my couples is that I always tell, and this is even before Photowall was developed, I tell every couple, I go, if you're trying to figure out where to spend your money, how to budget your money when you're planning a wedding or planning a big event, is you want to spend it on things that's going to be most valuable to you, not just today, but 10 years from now, 5 years from now. Like, what is it going to be? So they're always saying, oh, a photographer, a videographer. Right. But I go, the one problem about a photographer and videographer is that they're kind of limited on what they're going to be able to capture at that night. So photographers are usually hired to take those posing moments, what I call the moments that are planned, like cutting the cake, your first dance, the sunset photos, little things like that. With family photos, they're all standing perfectly, right? But they're not really good at taking candid photos, in the sense that they're not good at taking photos of people doing selfies, doing shots, dancing, people outside just doing random stuff, taking
all
photos.
The candid shots.
All the candid stuff. They're going to miss out on it. There's no way a photographer is going to catch every moment at an event, whether it's a corporate or wedding, because there's one photographer and there's 50 billion places they can go to take photos. So I go, there's a lot of things happening throughout the night that you're going to miss out on, that your photographer is not going to be able to catch. So the beauty of Photowall is that you've got essentially all your guests that are there become your photographer for the night. And they're going to be taking random photos of themselves, their friends. They take photos of you at your wedding ceremony. They're going to take different angles that your photographer is not going to be able to catch. And they'll be taking those photos. And then on top of that, they're going to share them with you and put them on Photowall. And you'll be able to look at them and then on top of that, you can also be able to download those photos once the wedding or the event's over. So when I explain it to them that way, they're like, oh, there's like a light bulb goes off in their head. Like, I never thought about that, And same thing with videographer. I go, videographer's going to catch those moments, but they're going to be only, just like a photographer, they're mainly going to be there to record when you're doing your vows, toast, speeches, but they're not going to be there when John and 5 of your buddies are doing shots at the bar.
Right. Exactly.
And that's what you want to capture, those moments too. So you can look back at them and go, oh, wow, when did that happen? Where were we? Oh, yeah, we were outside taking photos. We totally missed that. So that's the way I kind of market it, is like, it's perfect for those times to capture those moments that your photographer and your videographer was not going to catch. And, of course, your photo booth is still not going to catch too. So talking about photo booth, right now, as you guys still know, photo booth is probably one of the most popular add-ons that people are getting. I get photo booth requests all the time. But the way I've been marketing is that either it's a good complement to your photo booth service, because again, it's capturing more moments that your photo booth, your videographer, your photographer will not catch. These are like just funny, goofy photos that they're going to be taking throughout the night, and you're going to be able to share those on the screen. And so that, and here's the big plus, is this is what I use also. This is what I tell them, is that nowadays with smartphones, the quality of smartphone cameras are amazing. Like, photographers are using them professionally. But I also tell them the beauty of Photowall is that not only are they able to share photos from that night at your event, but they're also able to share photos from the night before, maybe at a dinner or so. Photos from when you guys went out 2 months ago for dinner, when you guys had a boys' night out, when you guys had a girls' night out, when you guys went out and did this, went skiing, or whatever old photos that they have from way back when, they can share those photos and put them on the photo wall. And again, the couple or whoever can keep those photos because they can download them at the end. So they're able to see these photos that they probably would have never seen had they not had Photowall, right? Because How many times have you gone to like? How many times have you gone out with your friends? They take a photo. Hey, let's take a photo. Cool. And you take a photo. But do you ever see that photo ever? You probably won't see it because it's gonna be on whoever took their photo. Whoever it is, it's gonna be on their phone, and then that's it. They're not gonna really. It's rare that people go, okay, yeah, share that photo with everybody. Put it on a server or put it on a Dropbox, and we'll all see it. It's usually they just take that one photo, and you kind of maybe don't see it. Maybe you'll see it real quick, and all right, cool. But then that's about it. You won't see it. And so I always tell everyone, it's a good way to share past photos that you may have that you maybe have gone out together and that you want to share that they never have seen. So I get a lot of times people will come to me like, oh man, I forgot about this. Well, when did you take this photo? I don't remember when you took it. And it'll be a photo from like 4 years ago, or it'll be a photo from like when they're babies, when they're kids, So college photos is probably like a popular thing I'm seeing a lot as well. So yeah, so that's been like a really strong selling point. So I usually just mention those and they're automatically like, okay, I want to get that. I get it. Like I want to get it. So yeah, just when you mention those are really strong selling points for the client. They understand it, they get it, and they realize, wow, how valuable that photo wall is.
Yeah, I think that makes a lot of sense, especially with kind of now that phones have way more storage, people back their phones up. I definitely think the trend will be to like scroll up, find photos from when, you hung out, at like the bachelor party or whatever. So yeah, I definitely think we'll see a lot more of those. I also just wanted to share real quick. Let me just pop my screen back up. So I think I mentioned this kind of guide. So on our site, if you click Photowall, we have this like user guide here. If you scroll down, it kind of talks about all the things we're talking about, but I have a section called marketing materials. So one is how do you get the number out? We have 2 examples for that. And then we also have a section selling to your clients. So this was something I actually made in Canva. I set it up as a template, but if anyone wants to use it, you could print it out. If you have them come in person, it says looking to capture your candid wedding photos. Because I think, as Young said, that's really the selling point. It's those candid shots that like your photographer can't get all the angles on. So
Right.
you can use this template, and there's a spot to put your own logo in it, as you can see. And it kind of says, I got to zoom in. I think how do I? Yeah, sort of has the selling points here. So display a live photo slideshow, receive a moderated guest album, shareable with all guests. And then I also just wrote, you can also do song requests, but you can kind of tailor that to what you're trying to sell them. But yeah, so it's $40 to the DJ. And I think that leaves plenty of room. I mean, you can read on our Facebook group. It does depend on your market, but people are selling it from anywhere from 150 to 400. You've figured out a way to get it up to 600 with renting it all. So like test it out, see what maybe keep doubling the price every few months until people question it. I don't know.
This is such a new service. People
Yeah.
have nothing to compare it to. They can't be like, it's not like a photo booth, right? If I quote them a price for a photo booth service, they can contact 5 other photo booth companies and see what they charge. And then be like, okay, I'm going to go with the cheapest one. Photo booth is such a new service and it's so unique that they can't shop it around. They can't be like, so since they can't shop it around, they can't really do due diligence in that sense of like who's cheaper. Then they start thinking about the way they start thinking is like logically, what's the best thing to get our most value, most bang for our buck? And so that's they're like, yeah, I can see the value. Once they find the value in Photowall, they're going to want to book it. So if they understand that they're collecting all these different photos that they would have never caught, they understand that perspective. They understand that also, very simply, is that Photowall is actually a source of entertainment for their guests. So when there's nothing really going on, the Photowall is something for them to kind of look at and check out and just look at different photos happening throughout the night. One of the things I always get is, oh, can we rent a projector and screen from you? I'm like, okay, sure. What do you want to use it for? They'll usually say, we just want to loop our slideshow. I'm like, oh, okay. So people can see it throughout the night. They're like, yeah. I'm like, okay, yeah, sure. We can do that. But after an hour or so, everybody's seen the photos in the slideshow, so it kind of gets monotonous. The beauty of this is that it's always constantly new photos coming in. It's fresh photos that are constantly coming in. Because again, as DJs and as MCs, our job, we need to make sure to make Photowall work. You have to constantly, not constantly, but you do want to keep reminding them, hey, by the way, keep those photos coming in. They look great. Keep sending in those photos. And people start sharing in the photos and keep sending them in. So yeah, so it's a source of entertainment that couples want. Couples want something clients in general, even my corporate clients, they want something different, something new, something fresh. Photo booths been around for years, and they do still like photo booths, but they're like, okay, now what's next? What else can we do that's pretty cool that people would like. And that's where Photowall comes in, because again, it's entertaining. It's people sit there and they watch and they wait for their photo to pop up. And they're like, oh, there's our photo. There it is right there. So yeah, so it's a source of entertainment. It's a way for the clients to keep and collect photos as well too, and capture those candid moments, which is really important.
Yeah, and I'd also say, I think RequestNow is still small enough. I mean, we do have several hundred people using us, but like it is probably a competitive advantage. Like I don't know if your competitors know about it, Young, in the Bay Area, but
They do and they
oh,
don't. They do and they
interesting.
don't. They
Do
they
people
know
know?
about it
I
because
haven't.
of me.
Okay.
Yeah, they
Yeah.
know about it because of
Okay.
me,
Yeah.
but they haven't jumped on it to like, because they haven't really like really kind of tried to use it, because they still aren't too sure about it, right?
It's true.
So
There's
yeah,
definitely a bit of a learning curve. It's
yeah,
something new. Some people just want to stick with the old ways, but I do think if you put the time in, everyone here is getting a free credit. Like this is something that could like differentiate yourself. I've actually seen it come up in like reviews on Wedding Wire because I follow pretty much all of our customers on Instagram. So
yeah.
they'll post every like Wedding Wire review, and I like always love to scan his request now talked about. And a lot of times it's like he had this cool text service or the cool photo wall, and obviously that makes me smile, but clearly people like it, so I think that's important.
California Beats Entertainment asked about wedding using it with the Gobo. Yeah, for Gobo packages and photo wall, I just typically will provide 2 projectors. I've got several different projectors in our warehouse, but like for photo wall, I'll use like a short throw projector with like an 8-foot tripod screen, something simple, nothing rear projection, anything like that. And then for the monogram, I would use it for just like a regular projection, long throw distance projector for that. So yeah, in those cases, I usually will kind of provide 2 projectors at the same time.
Also, Charles said, can you show the photo of the photo wall? I actually have something kind of fun to share. So I think you sent me this footage on your Instagram
Yeah,
story,
yeah.
but so
I,
this, I don't know what event this was, but
I call that the real and true life, guys. This is the
yeah,
the true life, the
this is
crazy
not
rich Asian
photoshopped.
wedding. No, this is it's funny. I describe it the crazy rich Asian wedding, because that's exactly what it was.
Looks very upscale. Wow.
It was 370 people in an estate, a multi-billion-dollar estate in Woodside, California.
Wow.
And yeah, that's what we did, the LED wall there. And as you see, that's why when people are walking in, that's the first thing you see is the phone number, the QR code, and they know exactly what to do. Text your photos. And so, as soon as they see that, you just start seeing the photos start rolling in, and they start texting in the photos left and right. And so I had an assistant sitting there and approving all the photos one by one by one. So yeah, that was a pretty crazy wedding that we did this past summer. But yeah, I call that the crazy rich Asian wedding. That's exactly what it was.
That's pretty funny.
Yeah.
Well, okay, I do want to do the raffle. I don't want to keep people too long. It's almost been an hour here. So I think we'll probably try to tie it up. So we're going to do the raffle. And then remember, if you've joined us live, either respond to the email from contact@requestnow, literally just say, hey, or I was there, or whatever, and I'll add the credit in the next few days. Are there any final questions before we do the raffle? So for the raffle, if you want to do this now, just send any message to that phone number. So actually, let me screen share. So unrelated to Photowall, RequestNow does have a raffle feature, just to kind of highlight it. And the idea is maybe you're at a school dance, you want to raffle, maybe you're at a prom. I don't know how you would want to raffle at a wedding, but you probably could. But the idea is it just picks someone totally random who's texted in. You just go to this button and it only shows for security reasons the last 4 digits. So you can actually have some fun with it. You can get on the mic and be like, okay, the winner is, last digit 0603. You can say it slowly, and then they'd basically come up. If they do provide you their name, then it will show up because we do have a name feature. So Misko, am I pronouncing that name correctly? So I guess I didn't really draw a big thing, but so he can win the first T-shirt. We still have 3 more to go, but I guess I did that kind of quickly there. But yeah, so that's how the raffle feature works, by the way. I was thinking a clever way, if you're at like a bridal show or you just want to, again, I see RequestNow as a great marketing tool because you send that contact card. I would say,
Mhm.
like, I'm going to raffle, I'm going to do a raffle at the end. I probably wouldn't do it at a wedding, right? If it's kind of upscale, but if you're at like a bridal show or you're at a school dance, I would say like everyone, like text me your favorite song. We're going to do a raffle at the end. It's just a good way to use the raffle to get more people to text in, which in turn gets more people to see your business card more people. So
Charles is asking about about showing my photo wall. This is I'm assuming this is what you're talking about. Again, this is a slide I use. I just made it on Photoshop. You know what I actually do, guys, is this is my iPad. So you know what I do with every event I do, whether it's corporate, I carry this and I literally walk on the dance floor and I tell everybody, I instruct everybody. I go, all right, guys, I want everybody to take out your cell phones. And they literally take out their cell phones. People are like, okay. They have no idea what I'm going to tell them to do. So I tell everybody to take out their cell phones. I go, write down this number, type this number right now, text this number right now. And they write down, I read the number out to them. I go, that's the number you're going to use to text your song requests. But that's also a number you're going to use, you should be using tonight to be texting your photo. And I do this in the very beginning of the night. And so a lot of time they'll save it. They'll save it in their phone. And so they'll know what phone number they need to use to text messages or text photos. So yeah, I will walk around and then I'll let them know, by the way, this will be sitting at the DJ booth. If you guys didn't get the number, come on up, scan the QR code. And then the phone number is right there. So yeah, so Charles, hopefully that answers your question. The other question was, where do you place the projector? It really comes down to the room shape, the size of the room, the way the room is laid out with tables and things like that. So I usually, before the event, I usually ask for a floor plan or a plot. And I ask them to, knowing that they booked the service, I'll say, okay, where would you like to put the projector? And usually they'll kind of tell me, well, let's put it here or let's put it there. And I can kind of tell whether it's going to work or not. But I do always recommend placing whatever you're going to be using, whether it's TVs or a projector and screen, place it in an area where it's going to be seen by everybody, where it's easy for them to see and view throughout the entire night. Because again, this is a source of entertainment, right? So you want to make sure it's easy for them to look at throughout the entire night. So
some people are asking about the credit. So we are giving, so RequestNow is giving everyone who joined live a $40 credit, which happens to be the cost of a photo wall. So you could try a photo wall out. That was basically the
awesome.
idea. So
Yeah,
California Beats asked. So yeah, hopefully that helps people out to try it out. It is new, so I know, people kind of want to test it. Any other questions? So just to go over the pricing of Final Time, it's $40 if you're in the US. If you're in Canada, that basically means $50 in Canadian dollars. That's the raw cost of Photowall. If you do it with song requests, so if you create a normal event, it would use one event credit or $10 because each event is $10. And then the other component to this is if you're on our Pro plan, it basically locks your number in for the entire year. So you're paying that fee only once the whole year. There's no monthly fees. It's $45 for the same number the entire year. I think it's a great deal. If you went to like AT&T or Sprint, they're going to charge you like $30 a month probably for a new number. And that's the other nice part. Like you're not using your own number, so it's not going to blow up your phone. You don't have to deal with people texting you at random times. And of course, they still get and a lot of people say, well, I like them to have my number. Well, we blast out the contact card, which I'm going to show you in a second. So they can still have your office number. They can still have your website. You can even set an auto reply. So if they text outside of the event, they'll get basically a generic message saying like, the party's over, but here's my website. There is a free trial too. We don't have a free trial for Photowall, to be honest. We have a free trial. Anyone who signs up for RequestNow gets a free song request event. Anyone who's on now will get a free event. So
one thing I wanted to bring up, more of a technical topic, is in regards to Wi-Fi. I know we spoke about Wi-Fi earlier. I've actually used Photowall and RequestNow with a hotspot too. So that photo you actually showed earlier, the Crazy Rich Asian, they didn't have any Wi-Fi there at all. So
I didn't know that. Wow.
No, they had no Wi-Fi there. So what we used a Verizon wireless hotspot. So, and a wireless card basically, right? And we used that there. It worked great. No hiccups whatsoever. So
yeah, you definitely can.
Need it. Yeah.
You definitely can. What's happening on our end, I mean, it's a very lightweight app. I mean, there's, some programs are like apps you have to run. Like this is very lightweight. It's all in the browser. So yeah, it's just downloading that photo once, storing it locally. It's not re-downloading all the photos every 15 minutes. We definitely built it in a very efficient way. I don't want to jinx it, but I haven't heard of anyone, having issues loading it and things like that.
Yeah, it's not like it's like streaming, right?
Right, it's not streaming. It's just it's just like scrolling Instagram. You're downloading the photo once.
Yeah.
Yeah,
You don't need a real strong Wi-Fi at all, that's the
exactly.
beauty of it, right?
And the guests
So,
actually, that's another point. The guests don't either. If the guests have one bar, again, it's over text. They're not downloading an app. They're
mhm.
not signing. See, like if I were at an event, I probably wouldn't want to download an app, do my email address just to send like 3 funny photos. But
Yeah,
I would scan a QR code and send a text real quick. So that's
yeah,
kind of why we are text only, which I think is our advantage. But on the flip side, there are some costs to it. That's why we do charge $40. We have costs on our end per text,
yeah.
but I think the advantages are there. So let's finish the raffle, and then I do want to show everyone the thank you message, because that's actually a really big selling point, is the thank you message and the contact email.
Yeah, that's
Or sorry,
definitely for
the
sure.
contact
Yeah.
card.
Yeah. I see Chris Disc is also he's using a Wi-Fi hotspot too. Yeah.
Yeah.
You can use your V Smooth, you can use your hotspot on your cell phone if you want. I've done that before. And, so again, it doesn't take it doesn't take a strong Wi-Fi signal to be able to use this service. So
Yeah, one question I think is important to kind of just bring up, because people definitely do ask me this. So, you're using the same number at all your events. Could someone at another event text in? To be totally honest, I really haven't heard that that's been a problem from people. I don't know, Young, if you've experienced that. We do have the ability to block people. So if
right.
someone is like spamming you or, causing problems, you can just click block. The other thing we can do, if this were to become a problem, we could like flag it. We could say, hey, this person's texted in before. But if you're like a bar, for example, you might get multiple people coming back. So, but yeah, I don't know. It just hasn't been a problem, to be honest. People kind of assume that it's over when they get that thank you message.
Yeah, I've never had a problem of people randomly texting in songs. I do one thing I am a little bit careful about is if I do any Instagram stories or something during the event
Oh,
while the event's happening,
yeah.
I'm very cautious to make sure that I don't show the phone number because someone will be like, "Oh, cool, I'm gonna text in the phone, a song right now." So
That's a
I'm a
good
little bit
point.
cautious about that. Yeah,
Yeah,
I'm a little
like whenever I share on our Request Now Instagram, I always blur out the QR code, because you can have someone like anywhere texting in. But I
yeah.
find at the event, people just assume they can text during the event, and I don't think anyone really thinks about it, or comes back to it. But there are ways around that.
Dan
So,
Jacobs was asking about the autoresponder for when the party's
oh,
done. He doesn't see it.
Oh, yeah, let me show you that. That's kind of a tip and trick thing that I don't think everyone knows about. So let me show you, and then we'll get to the 3 more raffles. Okay, so the autoresponder is in your profile. So if you click profile, we've actually added a lot. If you've been a customer for a while, I guess I don't want to talk about too much here, but it is, oh, sorry, it's on the number page because it's per number. So you'd go to the number, because different numbers can have different autoresponders. So it's called the away message. So I would actually say I've actually seen some pretty funny ones that people have put in, but I'd say, some people have been like the party is over or something, but you can reach us at, DJ Spin and website. You can put the website, or phone number. So now when I update this, anytime someone texts this number outside of the event the following morning, they'll get this message. So, and if you have 4 numbers with us, you can do custom auto response. Another pro tip that I don't think people really know about is we actually added this feature a while ago. I don't know if you know this, Young, but you can bookmark this link. This is called a permanent live view link.
Oh, right. Yeah,
It
yeah.
will always display your most recent event. And the reason why this is cool is you don't have to worry about sending the link around or texting it to yourself. So if I paste this, it should display the event we have right now. Hopefully. Yep, there you go. And again, remember the photo admin is accessible right here. So for Request Now, we made it super easy. If you bookmark that link on your phone or your computer, you'll never need to log in to view it at the event. Anyway, so that's that. I was thinking along the lines of school dances, since kids can be brutal sometimes. Yeah, luckily
Yeah.
I haven't seen it. You can block people. And by the way, if you block someone, it does not text them. It doesn't say you've been blocked. They literally like can text you and like you just don't see the message anymore. So it doesn't bother you. So yeah, it looks like someone else hasn't had that problem. I don't know. I think people kind of just get it at the end of the day.
Right.
Like it also just wastes their time in texting. So I don't know. But
Yeah.
if you do have that problem, there are things we can do, so let us know. But anyway, um, again, I don't. I know I kind of told people to stay for the end, so I don't want to take too much time. Why don't we go back to the raffle? So we've given away one shirt. So the raffle feature, you can keep clicking it. Drum roll. Okay. So guess two. So this person did not enter their number, but their name, but the last four digits are 5092. So if you could just send a text, and then I can see if guess two, and then you can just email me for the shirt. Okay, we have two more. Should we wait or just?
Sure, go for
I
it.
feel like we've been on for a while. Run it again. Okay, guest 10 just won the third shirt. 6163. And I guess I'll just take 1 second to show everyone our shirts. We call it the merch shop. I'm wearing the neon one. We do have 4 shirts for you to pick from. We got Request Now Neon, the headphones, the classic, and then the Stop Requesting This Song. So if anyone wants one, you can obviously buy one too.
Got my classic on today.
Oh, nice. Yeah, I was wondering if you were
Yeah.
wearing one. So you got the classic. Okay, we'll do the final raffle, and then we'll see if anyone has any final questions. Ready? And DJ Flyer. Nice. Thanks for putting your name in there. 470. So if you just text back. Okay, so guest 10, guest 2. Sweet, we confirmed. Everyone's here. And then that last one there, text in. I'll text you after the event to get you guys the free shirt. Any final questions? I'm trying to think if we covered everything. The pricing, how to sell it, technically speaking. We do have the guide I was talking about. So I have a guide if you need help. I also made a YouTube video, a YouTube tutorial on Photowall. I think it's like 20 minutes. I guess there's an ad, but yeah, so there's a YouTube video, and we do have a Facebook group. So if you ask questions, people like Young are in there, other people, a lot of passionate people about Photowall in there. If you ever have feedback, I hope Young, you can probably speak to it. We've added all sorts of feedback from you, like the name
Yeah.
feature. So
Yeah, it's a great service, guys. It's an easy sell. It's an easy upsell. So it definitely is going to help your bottom line if you're somebody who does this full time or part time, just want to try to increase your sales numbers. It's easy. It's a new service, and I think people are really looking for something new now. I think they're kind of tired of photo booths. I think they're looking for something fresh, something different, and this is definitely going to bring it to them. The biggest challenge that I've run into is just kind of educating the public, just like in any product, any service that's new. The toughest part is trying to teach them what it's about. Because a lot of people like Photowall, they think I've had the comments I've gotten where people thought it was literally just a wall with a bunch of photos, like collage photos. I said, no, that's not it. And then once I explained it to them, they're like, oh, that's cool. So yeah, so it's basically just comes down to educating the public's the toughest part. But as far as pricing goes, it's all going to based upon your market. You know, if you live in the Midwest, or maybe you live somewhere in the South, or it's going to be definitely cheaper than here in the Bay Area or New York, right? You're probably going to price it much higher. So it's really, pricing is going to be very variable based upon where you're at geographically.
yeah. And also, I've seen if someone like doesn't want a photo booth, it could be a good opportunity to say, well, if that's at a budget, I have something for half the cost.
Right.
It's only 350. It's
Right.
similar, and people can still kind of do that. So definitely opportunities. It's not going to be for everyone, by the way. Just I wouldn't over push it or oversell it. I think also, I know we talked a lot about weddings, but I've actually seen school dances, proms being a corporate event. Also, like you use it on Twitch even. So I mean,
Yeah, you
it's
could
not.
definitely
Yeah.
do anything. There's really no limitation. I don't have a lot of experience with schools, only because
Right.
with COVID there hasn't been any school dances. They stopped doing them. So I haven't really had experience of using it yet, but I can definitely see once schools start doing their dances again, I could definitely see kids start using that for sure. Corporate, they love it. Yeah, I've been using it on my live streams on Twitch. That
Yeah.
works well too. So Dan Jacobs has a question, and then also Peter Benson I see has a question.
Okay. Yeah. Let's take the final questions here. Oh wait, where's Peter's question?
Peter's on the very bottom. Dan's is like 2 positions up from the
Oh,
very
I
bottom.
can't.
Dan's is do phone numbers renew for the next year if we renew by a certain date, or do I have to print new QR code posters?
Yeah. So the way it works is when you sign up for the Pro plan, you're basically getting that number until you cancel the plan. Or you stop paying us, basically. So if you sign up today, next year you will get a charge automatically for that same number. So it just keeps renewing. So your number, like, we'll never get rid of your number unless you cancel or you haven't paid us for like a month. That's kind of the deal there. Someone asked about how much it costs just for the music, like for the song requests. So that is just $10 an event if you're on the pro plan. If you're not on the pro plan, meaning you just want to do pay as you go, it's $13 for the song requests. If you're a multi-op DJ, do you need a package for each event? The way it works for multi-ops is you would pay the pro plan for a number to lock in for the year, and then each additional number is $30 instead of 45. So we have multi-ops with like 7, 8 numbers. The way I like to think about it is I would give one number to each DJ. You can give it a friendly name. You can make a poster for each DJ, and then you would just pay per event. We also have packages, so if you want like 30 events, you can pay up front and it makes it cheaper. That's all on our website. Just look at our pricing. You guys can ask questions in Facebook group. Let me put the link for the Facebook group. I've found that we're slowly growing. Oh, that was another thing I wanted to show. One DJ has been really clever and actually takes the photos, goes on Shutterfly, and prints an album of the photo wall.
Oh, nice.
Isn't that smart?
That's really smart.
So he goes and I think he sends it to them or gives it to them.
As like a closing gift?
Yeah, he made a whole post about it, so you can check it
Very
out.
cool. That's
But
very cool.
that's really smart. I think he said, he charges for $400, sells the album cover. Yeah, so you guys can read about that. But the Facebook group is here. I'm gonna post that in the chat if you guys want to join.
That's
But
pretty cool. I like that idea.
yeah, I think we should probably wrap it up. I'm gonna oh, you know what? Swear last thing. I wanted to show everyone the thank you message, and then I can let everyone go. Where did our event go? Sorry, I got so many tabs. Here it is. Okay, so when the event's over, you click end event, end and send, and then I just want to show you guys on my phone what it looks like. So the people who texted in should see this, and get the, let me see it here. Here it is. So you get the thank you message. So this is what I texted in earlier. That was the photo. Oh, wow, it's green screening my phone. That's really funny. But yeah, you get the thank you message and then you get the smart contact. So that's the contact card there. So they can literally add you to their phone, book you for their event. Great way to spread word of mouth. So that's the contact card. But yeah, I think that was pretty much it. We did the shirts. Everyone will get the credit if you respond to the email I sent out, or if you email us that you attended. Just try to send it like in the next 10 minutes because I don't want everyone who watching this on YouTube to get it. That could cost us a lot. But yeah, and thank you, Young. Thank you for your time.
Oh,
Thanks for
absolutely, man.
supporting us. I think day one, so
Yeah,
appreciate all that.
I'm all about making our lives easier as possible as DJs and as performers. So when products and services that come out like this, I'm so gung ho. I'll like support it all the way. So, and I want to see this product become better and better every day. So I'm always happy to help and give my input as well too. So, but big shout out to everybody who joined us for the webinar today. I hope you guys all learned something. We appreciate you guys all coming out and hanging out with us tonight.
Yep. Thank you. I see, Charles, you said you didn't get the email. Don't worry. I got you. Yeah. Thanks everyone for coming out, and thank you, Young, again.
Of course.
Okay.
Absolutely.
We'll
Take
see
care,
everyone
guys.
later. Yep.
Good night.
Thank you. Bye.